Yep, we are back one more time, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers. We appreciate you tuning in on Facebook Live, YouTube, whatever platform you might be on. And we have a very, very good show for you today with a gentleman who is really in the upper echelons of his profession, and deservedly so. And I think a lot of you are gonna recognize his name once we bring him on camera. Anyway, we hope that you're getting a chance to get out and play some golf. The weather here in Las Vegas is kind of up and down. We were hot. We've had everything for the last two and a half months. It's been really, really a roller coaster. Snow, rain, wind, heat, and now, these days it's a little windy here, a little bit cooler, but certainly doable on the golf course. So we hope you're getting a chance to get out and play. And our guest today, I think, is going to help you play some better golf, because he helps a hell of a lot of other people play better golf. He's given just an absolute ton of lessons. He travels all around doing clinics. He's got 5 or 6 golf academies, and he's a really good guy. Let me tell you a little bit about our guest, Brian Mogg. Brian was named the Director of Instruction for the Great Waldorf Astoria Golf Academy back in 2011. Brian has been long recognized as one of America's 50 best teachers by Golf Digest, as well as Golf Magazine's 2021 through 22 top 100 teachers in America. Prior to that, Brian was the Director of Instruction at the David Ledbetter Academy. Our friend David, from 97 through 2001, and then the following year in 2002, Brian opened up the Brian Mogg Performance Center, and the rest, as they say, is history. Brian has been a frequent guest on many network shows like the Golf Channel and others. He has written many instructional articles for Golf Illustrated, Golf Tips Magazine, and PGA Tour Partners Magazine as well. So right now, let's bring him up on camera. Welcome him to the show. Brian, great to see you. I know you're busy. Thanks for taking time out and doing the show, my friend.
It's always fun to get with you, Dennis.
I appreciate it. Let me start off and ask you this. What to you, Brian, and you've seen this just hundreds and hundreds of times, what to you, though, is the most important part of the golf swing, and why?
Loaded question that I think you could go probably 100 different directions on, but one of the things I have on a lot of my business cards and stuff is I put fundamentals first. And I think sometimes coaches can overdo things trying to make it all complicated, dramatic. And the reality is fundamentals. I mean, you got to start with a good grip. You got to start with the proper basics in your setup. You got to have a proper turn of your body, and relatively good swing path. I mean, somewhere in those 4 areas, you've got to have consistency and basics. And if you do that, you're going to hit a good golf shot. So, and give you a much higher technical answer, but reality is it's built around good fundamentals is the foundation for everything every golfer needs to have in their swing. And, sometimes we try and make it so exciting and dramatic and all these cool things, but when it is all said and done, you go back all the way to Bobby Jones or whatever. It's fundamentals rule. And if you layer good fundamentals together, you're going to hit a good shot.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you totally on that. Everybody who plays golf, Brian, and you're certainly aware of this, and the people that you teach, instruct, coach, come to you, everybody's looking to hit it further. They want more club head speed. What's the best way and easiest way to get more club head speed?
One of the interesting things, I'll put you on the spot, Dennis. I want you to imagine we have the U.S. Olympic track team here with us.
Okay.
And we go out to a track, and the track's got an incline and a downhill slope. If we're going to do some training, do you take those sprinters and you put them on the uphill slope or the downhill slope to train them to run faster? What do you think?
Uh, Boy, that's a good one.
I feel like I'm a journalist getting asked the questions now.
you know,
What do you think?
I'm going to take a shot and say downhill.
Really, why?
Just to get their speed up. I know they're going at a good rate of speed, and when they start going uphill, obviously it's going to slow. But I guess they got to dig in more to get that speed.
Well, you're one of the rare people that's ever got that answer correct. It is downhill.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is your body has to assimilate what it feels like to move faster. So
Right.
when you run uphill, you're building more resistance running against the slope, and yeah, you're building strength. But to build speed, you have to effectively run downhill. So from a golf standpoint, what does that mean? Well, it means you need to swing all out abandonment and spend a portion of your time just flat working on speed alone.
Okay.
So that means you make dry swings, you make just flat aggressive practice swings, trying to hit, 100 miles an hour, 110 miles an hour, 120 with your driver, whatever you're capable of doing. But you basically have to increase your speeds to have a chance to kind of raise your bottom line number up. So the easy answer then is, practice downhill running effectively by making lots and lots of practice swings, trying to totally max out your speed. Baseball stride steps is a great way to do it. Put your feet
Mm-hmm.
together, make a stride with your left, if you're righty, with your front left foot, and then rip the golf swing. And over time, your average swing speed picks up. 1 mile an hour is about 3 yards.
Right.
So if you can pick up 4 miles an hour, that's 12 yards. That's a lot of yards picked up.
Yeah. Oh,
Just by picking
absolutely.
up a few miles an hour. So your body has to learn to do it. I mean, you can go through all the cliches of a better turn and use the ground and ground force, and all those things are completely valid. Those are things you want to build in the fundamentals of your swing. But it does come down to you have to move the golf club faster to hit the ball farther.
Yeah, no doubt. Why is it though, Brian, that people that are trying to build speed that swing full out, so to speak, always have, or not always, but a lot of times have problems controlling the ball? They'll hit it right, they'll hit it left because they're trying to increase their speed. What causes that?
Well, a person's going to have much big challenge than just a really professional, because long drive guys trying to get the club more inside and hit it, trying to create more upward hit and increase launch, because you can get a lower spin, higher launching shot. That's all the TrackMan data out there shows us. That's how you hit it farther. The challenge is at the long drive level, and some amateurs, they take that to such an extreme. They get stuck inside.
Uh-huh.
They can't release it. Or they have to over-release it. Next thing you know, you've created a mechanical or technical problem. In the pursuit of speed, you've created a swing flaw. So you got to be careful that you kind of go up to the edge with hitting up on the ball. You try and go up to the edge of hitting kind of a power high draw, but you don't cross to the dark side and get stuck.
I think a lot of players, Brian, and you correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I think a lot of players overlook the importance of release. And if they have problems with it, does that stem from holding the club too tight typically?
One of the things, if I told you to go grab a hammer and put a nail in, where would your be? I get this. It's cool. Where would your focal point be? If you had a hammer trying to drive a nail into a board, where would your focal point be?
It would be on the head of the nail.
The head of the nail, and as it relates to the back of the hammer, right?
Right.
Well, the point is a golf club, your focus should be on the head making contact with the ball. So if your focus is on the grip pressure, man, your focus is on the wrong spot. You're trying to deliver the back of that club, actually the front on the back of the ball, to maximize its speed. So if your focus is on grip pressure, odds are, tension, your focus is in the right spot, you're going to minimize your speed. The other thing I learned a cool lesson one time. This is a live story. I was playing the tournament at Pebble Beach, tour event at Pebble Beach, and it was on Sunday, and I'm in really good position. I'm like 15th place or something. Like, I got a chance for a really good finish. I've got a good front nine going on Sunday. And I came to number 9, par 4, kind of second shot goes down over the hill, cliff in the water on your right, and the pin's front left for a Sunday pin. And I was in between 6 and 7 iron. My brother's caddying, and I'm choking because I know if I don't just flush the 7 iron, I could bury it in the lip of the bunker. But if you hit 6 iron, it goes to the back of that green. It's just an ugly, rolls way to the right, and you got a huge hook and putt coming back.
Yeah.
And all I'm seeing in my eyes are bogeys. And my brother says, just relax. You know it's a solid 7-iron. Hit a solid 7, you'll be fine. And it was the perfect advice at the perfect time. And I hit this nice, sweet 7-iron 10 feet away, and didn't do anything weird. But the moral of it is why can't as golfers, if you hit the ball solid, that's probably a bigger secret to how far you want to hit it.
Yeah.
The ball makes solid contact. It's going to go a long way.
Yeah.
You start trying to swing it super fast or outside your natural control, and you miss-hit that, I mean, you're losing 50 yards, not gaining 15 yards.
Right.
So at some point, there has to be a focus that while you might train crazy and aggressive for speed, you ought to, under golf conditions, you ought to try and make sure that your priority is to hit the ball solid first.
Absolutely. There's no question about it, Brian. Let me ask you this. I've had a lot of discussion or a number of discussions with people such as yourself, top-ranked instructors. I've gotten different opinions, but I want to ask you your opinion. Is there really any purpose to having a pre-shot routine? Because me and a hell of a lot of other people, Brian, don't think there is. It's a waste of time.
Well, I'm going to be in a disagreement. You got the NBA playoffs going on. If you've got Curry or LeBron at the end of the game going to a free throw they got to make 2 free throws to go in overtime or something, their routine is everything. They've practiced their craft so well that it's 5 seconds, it's 2 dribbles, 1 look, a little knee flex, and go. If you don't have that routine to go into, it's not necessarily what the routine is as much as you have one. It increases the odds of you being successful. So everybody has a routine. It might not feel like you do, but the time component of it is crucial. I'll give you a cool story.
Sure.
I had an LPGA player. She was on tour probably a good 5-6 years, kept her card comfortably. Didn't make big money, but she'd be like 50th or 60th on the money list every year. No longer a rookie. She goes out to the West Coast and, man, just completely whiffs. Missed 5 or 6 cuts in a row, shooting high 70s, low 80s. Like, this girl's way too good to be doing this. So she comes back home, and we go to the range, and I'm expecting there to be some massive swing flaws. On the range, it looks pretty darn good. Like, there's nothing crazy off track here. So I said, let's go over and just play 2 holes and kind of see what we see on the golf course. And for some reason, she got on her tee shot, and I looked down at my watch and timed it for her routine and her swing. Did the same on her next shot, and did the same on the first 2 holes were par 4. So on the first 4 shots, I just happened to time her from the same time each time. And she took 1 swing 7 seconds, 1 swing 10, 1 swing 12, 1 swing 14. There was 7 seconds of difference between her 4 shots.
Wow.
For better or for worse. And this had nothing to do, her golf swing hadn't deteriorated, but her routine and the flow were so far out what her natural kind of rhythm was that she's hitting wacky shots, not because her mechanics were that far off, but because her rhythm got off. So in terms of having a routine, should you take a practice swing? I think that's more what you're asking. That's a personal question, whether you do or don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But you've got to have an internal clock that maybe you're a guy that loves 3 seconds over the ball and go, and Jack used to take 25 seconds. Both of you are right. You got to have a routine that fits your personality, that fits your style. A left brainer, which means a technical person, he's going to be much more slower and deliberate. A right brain creative guy is going to be over the ball hardly at all.
Yeah.
So you just got to be true to yourself, and the routine can be as deep or as simple as you want it to be, but there is a routine going on whether you're aware of it or not.
Right. No, that's well said. That brings to mind, Brian, something I want to ask you. Do you think it's better to be non-static before you hit the ball, or is it okay to be static?
Well, what if we asked that question, we were at some dance, high school dance? I mean, you'd see very few people, I think, with much motion dancing if they had to static. My cute, funny story is 1985. I went to Q school and I finished 6th. I was at top of the moon. I'm going on the PGA Tour. I can't believe it. I got about a month to get ready to go. Ledbetter's my coach, and David had done a phenomenal job of helping me build a really, really good repetitive golf. Back for my next lesson after I finished 6th at Q school. I'm ready to go take on the world. And
right.
David says, all right, so one thing I really want to make sure you have going for the tour is you've got too static of a routine. You have no motion. And I spent the month of December trying to build motion into my swing, thinking, this is crazy. Why am I working on something so silly as this? And nowadays, I get compliments. Some of the championship events last year, I got a compliment on how good my routine was, for how good my flow before the shot was. And whatever, 30, 40 years ago, David's trying to get me to do something that felt like, man, I feel like I'm dancing all over the place. And now that little rhythm is a secret to how you want to have your golf swing get started.
Yeah, because I play with a lot of guys, they'll bounce the club a little bit before they take it back and stuff, just to, kind of get in the flow, like you say. How long was Led your instructor before you went to work for him?
So I came to Orlando in 1985 to work with David, and worked with him for about 6 months and got my tour card, largely because of David's help. It was fantastic. All the changes I've kind of always wanted to do in my golf swing and didn't know how, he helped me to do that. And then I stayed with David through 1992, or played the tour for 3 years, played Korn Ferry Tour, played Asian Tour, kind of kept going all over the world doing stuff. And at the end of 92, I had lost in the playoff at Q School, which they don't have playoffs now. Everybody gets through, but I didn't get through. I didn't get through in a playoff that year. And David said, "Why don't you come teach with me for a year? See if you like it. If you don't like it, go back and play." And anyway, that 30 years, 40, whatever that time frame is, it's been a long time, 30 years now.
Yeah.
And David went from being my coach to my boss.
Yeah, I was at his. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I got a cool, finish your story, but I had a cool thing happen in 95. I'm working for David, and I'm starting to run his golf schools, and I qualified for the U.S. Open at Shinnecock. And that's right in the middle when Faldo and Price were number 1 and 2 in the world. I think Greg Norman had started coming around at that point, and David was just ridiculously busy. And I got quoted somewhere in one of the magazines because I came up with the perfect line. I said, "Yeah, I finally figured out the only way to get a lesson from my boss was to play my way into a major." So I did get a lesson from David at Shinnecock.
Yeah, that's very good. I was at his new facility when I was at the PGA show, last January, and it was very, very impressive. It's always nice catching up with him. In fact, he's going to be on the show in a couple of weeks. He's got a new training aid coming out, so we're going to probably talk about you. So your ears are going to be burning a little bit. But anyway, Brian, we're going to step away, take a short break, and when we do come back, we'll have a lot more with our special guest, Mr. Brian Mogg, and we're going to kick this off with some words about Florida golf life. Be right back.
Everybody, my name is Dawn Anderson, and I'm the CEO of Florida Golf Life, and I'm here with my partner, the CE Show, Alan Van Valkenburg, and we're here today to talk a little bit more about our company and to let you know who we are and what we do.
Well, thank you, Dawn. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody with FloridaGolfLife.com. It's been a very big success this year, and we just want to say thank you. First of all, to our charities and sponsors have been fantastic, and we just want to say thank you. We're a faith-based foundation, and we just want to give back, and that's what it's all about here in Florida. And Dawn, you can talk a little bit about our shop that we have going on right now too as well.
Yes, we have an online store where we sell quality products at affordable prices, and we also do lessons and trick shot shows with my partner, the CE Show, and we have our YouTube channel where we do videos all about the golf lifestyle, and we want you to check us out now on FloridaGolfLife.com. Thank you so much,
and
have a blessed day.
The revolutionary Power to Golf Club requires no swing to hit golf shots from 50 up to 225 yards. That's right, no swing. It's empowering golfers with physical issues to continue enjoying time golfing with friends and family. With just the push of a button, the easy-to-use Power to Golf Club launches shots down the fairway and onto the green. Whether a physical issue or just want to join in on the fun, the Power to Golf Club is for you. Visit online, powergolfclub.com. right, welcome back, everybody, to more of the 19th Hole Podcast. I'm Dennis Silvers. Having a great conversation with one of the best teachers in the country, Mr. Brian Mogg. Brian, what's your thought on training aids, and do you use any with your students?
I mean, all the time. But a training aid could be something that's putting a tee down, or it can be um, something. And I'm looking at the range right here. I've got foam noodles all going on. You've got all kinds of high tech stuff out there. So the whole goal is to communicate to your student what's the best way to feel this thing, and you just got to get creative with feeling something to communicate that.
Yeah, yeah. Do you put a lot into playing lessons? Do you give a lot of playing
Oh,
lessons?
thankfully, I was probably on the course about a third of the day so far today.
Really?
I don't know how you teach without going on the golf course. It's so much of golf is situational. I mean, the range is where you build up the technical side and improve the mechanics. But at some point, it's like a foreign language. I mean, if we're going to go learn Spanish, you need to go to Mexico or Spain and walk down the street and have it roll off your tongue.
Yeah,
If you don't go do that, I mean, it's just kind of theoretical classroom type stuff. You've got to have the ability to put it out there. So I love going on the golf course, whether it's how to take your swing from the range of the course,
right.
strategically, how should you play when the pin's on this side or the wind's on this side? When do you hit driver, when do you not hit driver? Where do you want to leave your approach shot for the easiest next shot? There's
Yeah.
just so many things to get to that have nothing to do with the mechanics.
You brought up something, you said something that everybody thinks about, and I ask it all the time. On the range, I might look like a +2, but I can't take it to the golf course the same way. How the hell do you do that, Brian?
Well, I learned a really good lesson in college where one of my college teammates, Chris Perry, just got in my face and said, quit thinking. And he walked me through that you've got to have huge target awareness. And most golfers end up with, 5 or 6, 7 swing thoughts. It's not that they're really bad. It's just what the swing thought can do potentially is block you from having a target in your mind.
Yeah.
So a target is unbelievably the most important thing every golfer should have. I mean, whether you're a hunter or a basketball shooter or whatever sport we ever do, you have to have a target in your mind. So to do that, at some point, I'd even challenge you, at your golf course, what color are your flags?
Well, I play enough around town where they're all different colors, but that's a very good question.
I'm
Front,
just saying,
back, and middle and
most
stuff.
most golfers don't have an awareness of their target.
Yeah.
Therefore, whether it's the color of the flag or, sometimes they're like red or black or white.
Yeah.
It tells you whether they're front or back or something like that.
Yeah.
As a golfer, you've got to have the ability to have a focus on a target. That's
Right.
probably the most important thing in sports.
Right.
Imagine like an archery person or a sniper. I mean, they've got to have a target in mind. And as a golfer, if you've got a target in mind, you've now got at least the awareness of where to aim. You've got awareness of where the
Right.
swing's supposed to be directed towards.
Right. Exactly right. I bet you the Waldorf Astoria has one color and it says Waldorf Astoria Golf on them. Am I wrong?
I do so many schools. We do golf playing schools, or every school we do, we finish out on the golf course. And I ask the same question, and I say nobody. Maybe 1% of golfers finally get it because we have checkered flags with a white flag.
Uh-huh.
So the poles are checkered and the flag is white, and it doesn't really matter whether they're blue or yellow or whatever they are.
Yeah.
You want to have an awareness to get in touch with your
Yeah.
target. And when you do
Yeah.
that, it's like your swing takes over positively.
Right. No, I agree. Brian, does chipping and putting, the short game, still remain the scoring part of the game, as I call it?
I mean, it definitely does. I mean, one of the things that, we're talking about speed and power changing the game of golf, which obviously it has. But the natural component of it is what difference does it make if you hit your driver 300 yards and then can't chip and putt or can't hit
Right.
your wedge near the hole?
Right. True. You got to get it up and down, right? You got to get it up and down.
So wedge play, and I heard a cool VJ story the other day that one of my guys I know in Florida was out with him. They went up to TPC and VJ lasered off the flag and it was 82 yards. Well, 5 hours later, he had holed 9 shots from 82 yards and hit 10 or 15 buckets of balls, sitting there trying to dial in his 82-yard wedge.
Wow.
So And that was right kind of in his heyday when he was number one in the world. So
Yeah.
golfer at that level, prioritizing 82 yards for his wedge and knocking 9 in the hole over several hours. I don't know anybody else that's really done something like
No,
that practice-wise for that
I
long
don't
time.
either. When you were playing a lot on tour, Brian, what was the strongest part of your game, number one? And if that part of your game started going south, what the hell did you do to hold it together to get it into the clubhouse?
Well, a couple of things I've learned. I mean, one of my cute sayings is when I was on tour, I didn't have a weakness. My problem was I didn't have a strength either. And I was super solid and everything was fine. It's just, as I've come to learn, you need to have a strength. You need to do something better than anybody else in the world. And
Yeah.
statistically, my best category was bunker play.
Interesting.
And that's not necessarily going to separate you out from anybody, but bunker play at least is, one important part of the whole mix that's got to go into it.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the things I try and do with my younger golfers now is make sure they have a strength that they're dealing with, so that they've always got something that they can go back to. And here's what I do. So, when we script out rounds of golf, or they're going to Q school or whatever it is, you've always got to prepare them that, what do you do if the swing falls apart? What do you do if it's going right or left, or certain shots are happening? So when you do tee it up, it's not necessarily, you'd love to play pure golf the whole 18 holes, but when it's not pure, you need to know what plan B and C is and have that already ready to go before the round. And at the amateur level, it's nothing more than just, all right, what are my fundamentals? What are some things I really need to do to make sure my fundamentals stay true?
Right. No, that is perfect sense. That's great advice. All right, let's change course a little bit, Brian. Give me your honest opinion and views on the Live Tour. A lot of controversy going on, all the litigation back and forth, all the name calling and this and that and the other. What do you think about it?
Mixed emotions. I've got friends and players out there. My son's actually done some work for Live in the last few months. I think the simple version I would give you, though, is I think the PGA Tour is where I want my loyalties to be. Mm-hmm. That was where my career was, and relatively happy with what I've seen on the tour and what other tour players have done out there. This is not an indictment of either party, but somebody said it best: either you play golf for history and legacy, meaning the PGA Tour, or you play golf for money, which is Live. Neither is wrong, neither is right. Each golfer has to figure out what their motivation for playing is.
Right.
And I think that's one of the struggles right now, is that Liv's focus is on where the money's at and how that's kind of validation or everything. And the PGA Tour is definitely more sided on the history and the tradition and how golfers build up their legacy of their careers over that. And I think one of the interesting things, we're in year 2 with Live. I think one of the interesting things that will happen is when the golfers' 4-year contracts run out, will they be allowed to come back to PGA Tour?
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting, and I think perhaps they will. They might have to pay a huge fine or something like that, but it's going to be interesting to see. And I think this is a watershed year for Live, with now that they've got some television and a few more events and stuff. It's going to be very interesting. Let's talk about the USGA and the RNA wanting to roll back the ball. You think it's going to make a damn bit of difference to these guys?
Oh, I got to be careful. My buddy kind of is a huge top guy at the USGA, but I think the USGA is ready to take on the issues, and I commend them that they're starting to get those issues going. But everybody wants to see the golf ball go a long way, and that's how the game has changed. I've got a different view on where changes need to occur, and I'm very happy. I've got 4 kids, and my daughters are in golf right now. What's their generation going to do? Okay, what's their kids going to do? And I'm very concerned in the big picture that we're not building the right type of golf courses. It's like architects keep trying to outdo each other for 8,000-yard golf courses. And I played a course in Florida today. The green depth was 62. I mean, how long does it take maintenance to mow a 62-yard green every day?
Wow.
That's ridiculous.
Wow, that is ridiculous.
All right. How many bunkers are there in every hole where the majority of bunkers are never even going to get hit into? And the moral of it is why can't we build golf courses where it's only, I don't know, 50 yards from the green to the next tee? Why can't we build courses with parallel fairways where it takes 3.5 hours to play around? Time is our biggest problem.
Right.
It's not the golf ball's going too far, it's time. So if we're going to grow the game, if we're going to legitimately have any hope for our kids to continue the game we love, then please, I'm dying for someone to give me a chance to build a golf course that could host the U.S. Open at 63 or 6,400 yards max, where the greens and tees are real close to each other. Greens don't have 18 elephants in them. Why do we have sand in our bunkers? Why can't we come up with another, I'll call it hazard? Why can't we have pine straw in our bunkers? Bunkers are the easiest place to play out of. Why do we not have other material in our technical hazards that truly would be a difficult shot to play with?
Yeah.
Why are fairway bunkers an inch out of the fairway when a guy can hit it 40 yards offline and not even be penalized?
Right.
There's so many things I think architecturally that could be done to penalize bad shots, to not penalize good shots, and then build it so a round of golf could take 3.5 hour maximum of 4 hour rounds.
Right.
Why don't we have 3 6-hole courses rather than 2 9-hole courses?
That's
Golfers want to go out for 6 holes or 12 holes. There's time for something like that.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. I think the reason probably, Brian, that you haven't been approached about designing a course is you'd probably charge too much damn money.
Well, please, someone give me a chance. I think there's some really cool things out there that need to be done. Well, there's one of the things I've always admired. I went to school at Ohio State, and Weisskopf built Double Eagle. And I got to play it only one time. And behind the 9th and the 18th green, there's one additional hole. It's for when the bets are tied. It's about a 90 to 100 yard par 3. You know, you hit from one end off 9, one end off 18.
Right.
The width of the green might be, I don't know, it seemed 15 feet is what I remember it being. Very, very extremely narrow.
Wow.
And there was water creek on one side and bunkers up on the other side. If you had a great shot, you hit it on the green. If you didn't, it was really hard to get up and down.
Yeah.
It's like a 90-yard hole. Why do we keep having to build 240-yard par 3 holes as though a 3-wood is the biggest test of a par 3? Why can't we have a 90-yard par 3? LA Country Club's got one coming this year that's going to be pretty darn cool. That's, I can't remember, is it 13 or something like that?
Yeah, on the North Course. Yeah, very true. All right, Brian, stay with us. We're going to step away again, take another short break, and when we do come back, we will finish up with our special guest, Mr. Brian Mogg. So stay with us. We return very soon. One of the perks about being in golf media is that I get to try every club ever made. Of course, like most things, some are better than others. I'm here to tell you that I have found unquestionably the absolute best performing set of irons I have ever played, and my scores show it. Let me introduce you to Grindworks, custom fitted irons that are made to fit your game. Grindworks offers players 3 different styles of irons. You can choose muscleback irons, cavity back irons, and even blades, along with some awesome wedges. And when you purchase your clubs, Grindworks lets you choose the type of shaft you want, the type grip you prefer, and even will adjust the loft and lie of your clubs if needed. That's unheard of. So what are you waiting for? Feel the power and experience and performance of these amazing clubs. Simply go to grindworksusa.com or call 281-651-4046 to order. Trust me, your handicap will love you for it.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence, AI, has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
right, everybody. Thanks for staying with us. And we got Mr. Brian Mogg hanging here with us on the 19th Hole podcast. Going to wrap up the show with him. You're known as, well, you're known as a lot of things, Brian, but you're known as Mr. Efficient when it comes to teaching golf. How did you get that handle? Who gave you that handle?
Well, I don't know. I appreciate that. It's a nice compliment. One of the things is, I transitioned from, modestly playing the tour to teaching, and some of the mentors I've had in my life have just been fantastic for helping me learn, and being able to kind of apply lessons learned from the tour as well as lessons learned from, David Ledbetter got me started, and Mike Adams has been a huge mentor lately.
Mm-hmm.
A guy named Glenn Malm started me in golf back in Seattle. So many lessons have been learned over the years that trying to put kind of that package together from what does it take to play well, but also what does it take to have the right technical information. And you want to make sure the student receives it in its most simplest form, because golf's hard enough as it is. You don't need the coach putting 75 things inside your head when you're only capable of kind of feeling one thing.
Yeah, very true. And probably if you remember, I categorize instructors and coaches basically in two categories. Some people are very, very technical. I happen to prefer the KISS system, keep it simple, stupid. That's the best way I learn. So I guess whatever might work for you, whatever you understand, you got to go out and obviously you've got to find the right instructor. You have a number of academies around. First of all, what are you doing with all your money? And secondly, how do you go about choosing a location if you want to open up a golf academy?
I'm very blessed. I've got 5 academies, and I'd like to say that I have 5 places where I got a lot of friends. And we've now been in Orlando for 30 years. The Waldorf I've been at for about 14 of those years. A great partner, Hilton Property. It's fantastic. I grew up in the Seattle-Tacoma area, and Chambers Bay, where the U.S. Open was 2015. Right. Really excited to be there all summer long, and just one of the best practice facilities I've ever been to. Great people there. Golf course, the greens are new. Everything's really good there. We got to get you to come up there, Dennis. But
I love it.
I've got another place in Toronto, just north of the city, so I spend a ton of time in Toronto during the summer, at Ovenbird and a few other places in Greater Toronto.
Beautiful.
Honolulu, I'm at Hawaii Prince Golf Course, which is out just past Pearl Harbor on the west side of Honolulu. Is fantastic. And then I do have a Korean academy in Seoul that I get over to once or twice a year, and then the kids winter train here. So I've made fantastic friends over there, and the best part of the whole thing is I get to see my friends, and it's amazing. I only go to Toronto in the summer. How's that for amazing? I really avoid going there in the winter.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Same in Korea, and pretty much Chambers Bay is kind of a mid-spring to mid-fall time frame. So and Orlando's more or less mid-fall to late spring time frame. So I get to kind of do some of the better weather situations and get to see friends all over the world this way.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely awesome. Speaking of all over, if somebody wanted to come see you for a couple of lessons or whatever, what's the best way to do that, Brian, to get a hold of you?
Here's my email, brian@moggacademy.com. Brian with an I at moggacademy.com. Throw me an email and try and fill you in somewhere. Our golf schools have just boomed this year. We've just been packed this whole year. We've got a couple more here in Orlando to come, and then we start at Chambers Bay. I think June 2nd is our first school at Chambers Bay. We'll be doing them there most of the summer.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. How much golf are you getting out to play right now? Because I know you're busy.
I'm busy. I've got a few tournaments on the agenda and definitely working towards things. I mean, it's, at some point, working on my own game is kind of validation of all the things I'm telling my students. And, we joke a lot that, I got to walk the talk. I can't say tell you some and then go out and violate it. So
totally,
it's definitely something that I want to make sure my game is sharp. I want to make sure I'm playing well. I still got some things I want to do on the playing side, and I'm going to try and be really good about that. Tom Kite taught me a cool lesson one time. He had just finished second in the Masters, and I was playing the Byron Nelson, and I got paired up in practice round with just a local guy and Monday qualified, and group ahead of us was Crenshaw, Litsky, and Bobby Watkins, and Kite came up, and I just assumed he was going to join those guys, and said he asked if he could join us, and I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. We're just a couple of young kids, and boy, for 8 holes, we just pumped him full of information and questions. What it was like at the Masters. It was the year he had about an 8-footer on the final hole to get into a playoff, and he just missed it. And anyway, got on the 9th hole, and I just said, Tom, thank you. It was a fantastic practice round. You've shared so much. You've given of your wealth of information. You make me feel like I'm better prepared to play the golf course. Thank you. Why have you done this, though? Why have you been so nice to all of us? And he goes, I was being selfish. I'm like, well, thank you for being selfish. He goes, look, every time we were on the 9th hole, he told me to tee it up on the right-hand side because the river runs down the right, so I could aim it more at the left side of the fairway. He goes, every time I'm telling you to do that, I'm reminding myself of what to do.
Yeah.
So a lot of times in coaching, while you're not maybe trying to be selfish, but you're trying to reiterate why things are important and why things work.
Right.
So when I tell you to do something or tell a student to do something, it's reinforcing this is the correct way everybody should do it, not just preaching at you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, that. Why don't you open up a school here in Las Vegas? We got plenty of golfers here.
We'll come out and look at it, Dennis.
I'm serious. I mean, I think you'd kill it out here, Brian. I really do. I really, really do. I wish you would.
You're the man in Vegas.
I would love to have you come out, my friend. That would be absolutely terrific. Anyway, we'll let you go. I know you're busy. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Always great to have you. Always great information. And, love to have you back sooner than later. And appreciate you, my friend.
All right. Well, thanks for all your time, Dennis. Good luck to all the golfers out there.
Thank you very much. We'll see you, Brian. We'll talk to you soon. Brian Mogg, everybody. Terrific guy. All right, we'll step away, take one more short break, then we're going to wrap up the show. Stay with us. The revolutionary Power to Golf Club is helping golfers around the world continue to enjoy the greatest game of all. This amazing club requires no swing to hit shots from 50 up to 225 yards. That's right, no swing to hit shots, including fades, draws, low shots, as well as high ones. One incredible club does it all. Golfers with a wide variety of physical issues, including bad backs, hips, shoulders, and more, are now back in the game golfing with friends and family. Just set the club to the desired distance, and with a push of the button, the easy-to-use Power to Golf Club launches shots down the fairway and onto the green. The Power to Golf Club has been endorsed by some of the biggest names in golf, and the number of golfers enjoying the game by use of our unique technology continues to grow. Whether a physical issue or just want to join in on the fun, the Power to Golf Club is for you. Don't be left on the sidelines. Get back in the game today. Visit at powergolfclub.com. Hi, I'm Dennis Silvers, host of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers, and I'm here to tell you about some great wedges and putters from Grindworks USA. First, the Grindworks Barrett Collection Wedge Set. These wedges are unparalleled in today's market. The wedges come to you in 3 different lofts, 51, 57, and 61 degrees, all designed to be able to spin around the greens with the ability to hit high, middle, or low shots around the greens. Grindworks also makes a line of their Windsor Wells Precision Machine putters. This beautiful design of putter was not only created to be appealing to the eye, but to perform better on the greens. You will gain a ton of confidence to help lower your scores. Go to grindworksusa.com or call 281-651-4046. I promise your scores will love you for it. And as always, we want to thank Grindworks USA and Encore Golf for co-titling the show. So happy to have them aboard because they're both great products. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I'm Dennis Silvers, and I hope you enjoyed it. And we're going to look for you back same time, same place next week, everybody. So long.